All right, good morning everyone, back with another episode of Crypto, Coffee and LoFi. Turn the LoFi up a little bit for this episode. A few of you commented on the last one saying you could barely hear it, so let me know how the volume is for this one, and I can adjust it for the next. So I'll be changing the structure up a little bit. I had to think about how I should run these videos, and I feel like it's best that I run through Bitcoin and Ethereum first, okay, and then I go through the altcoins that I'm looking at. And then at the end of every video, I'll go through my favorite altcoin pick. So make sure, if you want to see that, stick around to the end, and I'll be hosting a giveaway too. Okay, so stick around to the end of the video, and I'll explain to you how to enter the giveaway. But for now, let's start off. We'll go through Bitcoin, Ethereum, covering the positions I spoke about in the previous day's episode. Okay, and then we'll go onto today's alts. All right, so just starting off with Bitcoin here. I think that we are actually seeing distribution across the board today, so I wouldn't be surprised if we come down, sweep out yesterday's low and return to this the start of this bullish structure that we formed a few days ago. And this is the same pattern on pretty much every altcoin, so we'll go through that. I did try to take a short up here yesterday on Bitcoin. I was up like 2 or 3 R, and then I woke up to getting stopped out, so that's all right. But I think now that we have taken out this high, if we can close below this low right here, then I think that's pretty much a perfect short setup. I'm seeing a bit of a cleaner setup on alt, so I probably won't be taking the Bitcoin short personally, but it's in line with the rest of the market, so the probability of this playing out is quite high. Okay, so something like this, reaching for the previous day's low and possibly even below these lows here. Now I just want to get my bias clear for you all. Although this is a bullish structure down the bottom here, like I explained in the previous video, it's important to note that until we break up above this structure and continue to accumulate, this is simply just a bearish retest. And even if we do break above this structure, if we start to redistribute once we reach into this zone here, then again, it is just a bearish retest. What we need to see, and what would actually be healthy, would be a retrace back into this zone here, where we then see reaccumulation. If we do see the reaccumulation there, okay, it then becomes less likely that we're going to redistribute up into this zone. We could still reach lower. If we take a look at the hourly chart, although we're just reaching into previous areas of accumulation and reaccumulating, which is a bullish sign, we could still reach lower. There are a few untested levels of support in here, like this zone in particular. And if we were to reach into sub 40k and then accumulate under this low, it wouldn't necessarily be bearish, but it would just mean that a lot of the people that are long are getting shaken out of the market. Would be most ideal for the next up move. But if we do reaccumulate at this zone, then I'd say that we are bullish. Just being wary. Redistributing here isn't a good sign. Now it's a similar ETH looks a lot better, obviously, due to ETH BTC, which we covered I think on the first episode. Okay, so just removing this. No setup here yesterday. Bit choppy, this price action, so I won't be trading it. I would like a retest of this support, at least. If we do break through this support, then on the higher time frames, we do have these levels that I am watching. In a bull market, I know I've explained this before, but in a bull market, it is healthy for us to retrace all the way to the previous leg. If the previous leg has accumulation, being a broken base, and we see reaccumulation, then that is simply just a retest of demand, and that's a good sign that we're going to continue up. So just because we retest and we retrace below these lows, that doesn't mean that the bull market's over. It means we're just retesting the levels of demand. So a retest of this support, if we can reaccumulate there, then that's a good sign. Otherwise, if we can drop further below into this zone here, I'm not complaining either. But keeping in mind that would drag the entire market down with it, where would Bitcoin be? Where would everything else be if Ethereum did drop down that far? Okay, obviously ETH can decouple, which it did a little bit over the last week, so just keeping that in mind also. Looking at Link here, tried to get into a long yesterday and got stopped out. That's all good. If we can revisit this zone again and reaccumulate, then I'll look to enter, but I would prefer us below these lows, again in line with a deeper retrace that it looks like we're about to see on most of the market. BNB, I am in on this position, but unfortunately it's not looking too bright. If we do get a 15-minute or hourly close below this low, it would confirm multiple distribution patterns. Okay, so we have the high here. Here we broke below that, swept the high. Once we revisit, we form the same pattern again, breaking structure, supplies building. If we then continue to drop, then I'll probably end up cutting my position, as the most likely move would be a deeper retrace then. If we break just above the levels of accumulation and don't shoot up, and instead we start to distribute, okay, at levels of resistance, which is where we're at right here, then there's generally not a good sign. I would rather cut the position, okay, and look for an entry or reaccumulation further down. It doesn't mean I'll set another limit, it just means I'll wait for the reaccumulation. So that's BNB. FTT, again, it would be in line with a deeper retrace on FTT here, so keeping an eye out for that. Sushi, I've cut my longs, okay, around 14.20. I'm happy with the profit I made here. I think we see a deeper retrace back into this zone. I am just trading the lower time frame, so if I enter down here and close up here, there's really, you cannot complain. You know, I'm not trying to really swing trade. I will try to get one or two in if I see the higher time frames matching up, but I would rather just run my profits. So 3R for me is good. Doge, went over this yesterday and it panned out exactly as I said. So we got the sweep below these lows and we broke above this high and this high here, where we got the retest right here, taking profit. My target hit in my sleep, okay, at the inside range objective. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go and watch episode 2. Okay, so hit my target in my sleep. I left a small portion on. Elon goes live later on today, so it'll be interesting to see how this reacts. My risk is covered plus some, so I can't complain. Now RSR, looking for that deeper retrace still. Okay, we're forming some distribution here. Here's the high, here's the low, we break below, and then we're forming the same pattern again. So here's the high, here's the low, break below, and then the same pattern just here. If we can break and close below here, would pretty much confirm a move down. Then once we do get into this zone here, then we can start looking for reaccumulation, either at the high of the broken base or at the ray candle here. ETH BTC, I haven't actually looked at this today, so we didn't end up retracing at all. Right. So this is obviously still really bullish. Let's just take a look where the daily, or how the daily is going to close here. Yeah. So if the daily closes up here, any retracement back into this zone, this consolidation, if we do start to reaccumulate, then that is a good sign. Let's see if we got anything obvious here. Nothing too obvious here on the lower time frames. I would like to revisit this area and then reaccumulate, but we'll see how we go. So a quick recap: Bitcoin, Ethereum, pretty much everything is pointing towards a retrace. We may not get it. There's still no confirmation here yet. But the most bullish scenario, in my opinion, would be to wipe out all of these lows and reaccumulate here. If we don't reaccumulate here, then we can head much lower to sub 40k. Just keeping in mind that the structure is still bearish. Although we see the bullish accumulation here, it doesn't make this entire down move kind of irrelevant, okay? So just keeping that in mind. Now, the coin that I wanted to look at with you all is AVE. Now, I'm not looking at targets that are too high here. Okay, but I do think we see an opportunity to get long. So when price runs right up to a previous key swing and then stops right beneath it, it doesn't necessarily mean that that is that the high that was recently formed is going to hold. How I usually play this is I'll look for bullish levels on the retracement. So we come up, we form a double top, we don't sweep the previous high. I look for previous levels where I can look for reaccumulation to then buy into the double top. Okay, so good example here is this. We sweep out these equal lows. You look for the high that swept the low, which is right here. Now, if we can reaccumulate here on the lower time frames, this will be a nice lower time frame long opportunity to buy into the newly formed equal highs. So remember, price is always just attracted to the open float, the liquidity. Now that a double top is formed, the majority will be thinking that this is resistance. If we can accumulate into the resistance, then it's generally a good sign that we're going to sweep above the double top. We also have this higher time frame broken base here. So yeah, keeping an eye on that for sure. No worries. So I'll be giving away one free copy of the Easy and Easy Out strategy. If you would like to enter the giveaway, comment underneath this video with suggestions for the next episode. Make sure you've liked, make sure you subscribed. Then take a screenshot of the proof of you commenting and send it to me on Twitter. And I'll be choosing one, maybe two of those people to get a free copy of the strategy, and that's access to the group and everything like that. No worries, guys. So if you enjoyed it, like, subscribe. Thank you all. Bye.